Hello and welcome to the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast with Jeremiah Jennings. While still in his early 20s, Jeremiah already runs a successful six-figure lawn maintenance company. Listen in as he and his guests share the things that have brought them success that can help you in your business. As a young entrepreneur in the green industry, Jeremiah emphasizes the tips and tricks involved in running a lawn maintenance business while discussing the principles applying to all small businesses. If you're wanting to grow, become profitable and professional, you're in the right place. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode here on the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, coming to you from sunny, warm Alabama today. It is the weather's been crazy down here, been cold and then hot, and we got storms coming today. So it's actually 70, 75, I think, outside right now, and it is just ripe weather for storms. I see most people out plowing snow. All you guys up north out there plowing snow and making that dough, and that's not something that I have any interest in doing. I'm going to watch y'all on Instagram and enjoy y'all's highlights being out until 2 and 3 a.m. But, hey, that's what the hustle's about, isn't it? So we have a good guest interview today. We actually have an in-person guest. I'm super excited, and it is none other than Jason Creel with Alabama Lawn Pros. Jason, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. And people don't know we live like 5 minutes. I put in my GPS, it was 5 minutes. I said, I can handle that.
That's right. Very, very close. We actually, I know I cut yards that are right next to the ones you treat. I don't think I have any that you treat, though. That's actually kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because, I pick up, if people drive past me during the summer, they think I'm like a treatment company or I'm just going around picking up other people's signs because I have so many yard signs in the back of my truck. I've got the Mighty Green, they're everywhere.
Yeah, I don't like those signs, but people think that the signs is like a huge marketing technique, and I mean it does help a little bit. But honestly, it's just to let the customer know I've been there that day here.
Really,
But I know when I was mowing grass, it's annoying.
Oh, it's annoying. I pick them up everywhere.
I just tell people, I was like, throw them away, man. I had some people that want to give them back to me. I was like, just throw them things away. I just put it out so the customer knows I showed up.
Well, I guess that's kind of we can just hop into that topic. That's actually a unique topic. So you're saying the marketing on that. What is that? Well, let's backtrack. Let's go back to, for everyone out there who, if anybody doesn't know who Jason is, tell a little about what you do here in Alabama. We're local, right here down the road. So tell everybody what you do.
Yeah, I run my company, Alabama Lawn Pros. It's my third lawn business, not on purpose. It just happened that way. The first one I sold, I was mowing grass, and somebody asked me if I want to buy my business, and I'm kind of one of those people that just nearly anything I have, with a few exceptions, is for sale for the right amount of money. So I sold the first business and then kept a small portion and started mowing more yards, and then we moved, and I sold that business and started up my current company, Alabama Lawn Pros, and I'm basically exclusively weed control and fertilization, so I quit mowing lawns and spraying and try to get to know all the mowing guys. That they send me business, I send them business, and it usually works out for the most part. And then I like to say a part-time YouTuber.
You're an influencer. Just go ahead and say it.
Yeah, I guess, but that's my side gig is a lawn care life on YouTube, and mostly if I'm going to influence anybody, it's probably going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, I love it. There's a lot of people that the videos that we just did recently, I was going back and reading through the comments and everything. Everybody was talking about how they love the videos and how they were wanting you to put out some more stuff. And so people definitely keep up with you on there. You're about to hit 100,000, aren't you? We're in like 94,
I would have
96.
thought that was my goal this year. It just didn't happen. So I think I'm at 92,000 or something. But supposedly YouTube, it gives you a little piece of paper that says you did something if you get to 100,000.
Yeah, don't you get a plaque or something?
I don't know.
Isn't that the silver play button? I think is when you hit 100,000.
Maybe so. It's been a slow and steady plod for me. I've been at it for about 10 years, so I some ways envy those who fly to 100,000 in the first year, but that just hadn't been my course.
Well, and there's I don't know, there's good and there's bad behind that. Is the thing that you probably haven't taken off so much because you're putting out good content. I mean, you're putting out stuff that people are learning from. You're not just putting out how to mow tall grass videos. And that's not. I'm not to knock the guys that are out there making those videos. Good for them. It's they're running a business and they're becoming profitable at it. So if it works, it works. But I think over time, yours is going to be the tested one that stays the long run, and it has. What is this? How many years you say?
I've probably been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah,
and it's always a balance. You gotta get views and get stuff. Like you want that viral video every now and then, but at the same time, I just got
to put that how to flip edge video out there.
Well, it's a balance. I mean, I don't know. I have to think through, like, do I want to be a serious channel that really helps people, or you want to be a entertainment channel that just gets lots of views? And I've tried to sort of balance both of those. And
and there is a balance there. I mean, even like in the podcasting world, I could get on here and just talk about entertainment all day, and a lot more people would probably listen. If I just had 2 or 3 guys sat here and goofed off and just talked about stupid stuff, people would probably listen. But when I try to bring good content, the numbers don't always reflect the time and the effort you put in. So kudos to you for sticking it out for 10 years, and now you'll hit 100,000 probably by March or April, you think?
I guess it usually honestly, like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day is usually the bottom of the YouTube world for me, and then first of the year it'll slowly start climbing, and then probably peaks out about April or May, and then as you get into the fall football season, all that, people start caring less about their yard.
Yeah, my goodness, I hear the dogs out here. We have a brand new puppy. I don't even know if I've talked about that on the show before, but I have a brand new puppy. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back. I got to get him out of here.
He's about to open the door.
Hey, it's Marty, and I've been in the communications business for a long time. And our dirty little secret, well, among several secrets, is that we're just not very good at truly communicating.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Do you feel that way about your communication with clients? That it's just not as strong as it should be? That is why Brian has the Growing Your Business with Customizable Newsletters course over at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com. This is an opportunity to increase sales through better communication.
Help me! Help me!
Every month you're invoicing and billing, and that is the perfect time to share new and exciting information with your customers.
Check this out. I'm sending you some email.
Monthly email newsletters are a powerful way to educate, inform, upsell, and just keep the overall atmosphere of your business in tip-top shape.
Wow.
Get started today at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com, and that link is on your podcast app.
All right, we're back, everybody. Sorry for that interruption. We got, like I said, I have a 4-month-old golden retriever, and we're actually doing this in the office at the house. So most of the time I can kind of get them out, and they won't bother me, but they know another person's here, so they're trying to check it out and join in on the fun. But they would just cause too much of a ruckus to be in here. They would be a part of the show. So anyway, back to what we were talking about. I don't even know where we're at. Were we on YouTube still? I don't even know.
I think so, but I think we covered that enough.
Yeah, we covered a lot of YouTube, and it's a fun side gig. That's what you said. Is you like doing it on the side, but it's not. You almost would rather go out and spray yards.
I mean, I like the combination of both. YouTube's been great, and I'm planning to keep doing it. But I don't think I want to be a full-time YouTuber. But it is what it is. I enjoy it, but I enjoy also being out there working on yards and trying to do that. If you're not doing that, then what, that kind of gives you content to know what to talk about on YouTube. I'm usually talking about what I'm doing on somebody's yard or what I'm doing in my own business. So it works hand in hand.
I hear you. Well, I got a few questions for you today, kind of some specific questions that are kind of just overall business questions. You've been in it. I mean, how long have you been in business total for yourself?
I think I started in 2007. So
what, 14, almost 15 years?
Something like that.
That's crazy. Yeah, 15, that's a big mark. So you got a lot of knowledge, a lot of wealth of advice you can give, and that's what I love getting out of. I want to bring on good guests to the show that can bring y'all a lot of good information, and that's what I plan to do today here with Jason. I'm very appreciative for him being here and joining us. So one thing I have is, let's talk about systems really quick. And I know systems is a huge thing in fertilization because you have, hundreds of customers you got to keep up with, a lot of different routes you have to make. What do your systems look like keeping you, or how do you have systems to keep you organized in your everyday thing? What are you using for your softwares of like how having to go out and map out your routes and all that?
Yeah. So systems is a word that's always been frustrating to me because I hear people like these, how some people, they can just run, they're just great business people. It seems like whatever they do, it just works, and they always talk about the system and all this. And I feel like it's something I know a little bit about and I can't ever quite execute. So, but I can speak to what I do. I mean, I use Yardbook, and that's what I've been using. Since I've had Alabama Lawn Pros, so I guess since 2015, and it works great. I don't necessarily use it all for the routing and everything. I use it mostly for my just customer management. I use it to do all my invoicing and things like that. My routing, and this is what's tricky with doing weed control and fertilization. It doesn't always fall perfectly on a calendar. So it's not like if I'm mowing lawns and I'm going weekly or bi-weekly, you can set them up in the software. Everybody's going to come back as a recurring job. Well, if your recurring job is like every 53 days or something, except for when it rains, and then it's every 57 days, except for when it's hot and you need to wait. Yes, there's no perfect pattern to it. I tell people I do 7 applications a year. It's roughly every 6 weeks the first half of the year and roughly every 8 weeks the second half of the year. So it's not even consistent throughout the year. But like I said, some years in September it's 95 degrees and no rain, and so I can't go out and spray some toasty brown yard. I got to wait a little while.
Yeah.
Other years it's fine and you can do it. So so point being, I mean, I have as simple as like a Google document where I have all my customers arranged by neighborhood, and I basically have them in order of the route I want to do them all, each application. So, and I go through there and go through the list. You have to keep track of the chemicals you're spraying. You can do that manually. You can do it with the software, and then I'm always updating. So if somebody fires me, they get taken off the list. I pick up a new customer, add them on the list. So it's always a recurring thing.
It's always ever changing. It doesn't sound like it's ever very stagnant for too long.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing today. I've been sitting there at the computer staring at it saying, this person doesn't pay their bill, so I'm going to make them put a credit card on file. If they don't want to do it, they're gone. So I erase them off. I'm trying to get as cleaned up as possible going into 2022. And then, but as far as, other system, I'm thinking, for me, whatever you do, like I don't have a secretary. I got like 300 yards or so. There's no secretary. I mean, I'm trying to automate as much as possible with credit card on file and prepayment. But then I just feel like so many people waste so much time during the day when they're out there working. So I think that's something that I have actually cleaned up a lot in my own business. I've really tightened up my route. And I mean, when I leave for the day, I'm in 5 minutes from leaving my house. I'm oftentimes working, and I may drive 4 miles total for the day. And I'm just trying to build up as many small yards as possible in the same neighborhoods, stack them together, and trying to keep it as profitable as possible. And then when I come home, I don't want to be sitting there texting people reminders about you didn't pay last time, and the software will do it for you, but they ignore you once, they'll ignore you the second time.
Yeah. So. How long did you do it without having a system, without having Yardbook? Did you do that like your first year?
Well, I guess I've always used the software, even though I did this was the worst. I used to actually print out all my invoices.
Oh, wow.
And mail them at the end of the month, and it was terrible because I'd mow their grass all month and then send them an invoice at the end of the month, and then they had basically 2-3 weeks in the following month to pay. You may end up 6 or 7 cuts in before you finally get paid.
Money. Yeah.
You finally get caught up in the wintertime. I don't know why I did that. I just didn't know any better.
But you didn't know any better. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's why we do this stuff. For everybody that's out there starting, not to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because I used to always think like the 3% credit card fee or whatever, 2.85%, whatever it is. I just thought that was terrible. Like, why would I give up 2.85%? And now I'm like, I will gladly give up 2.85%.
Yeah.
Because the headache and then the time, I don't even want to go to the P.O. box and pick up a check and have to go take it to the bank. I mean, I do that, but the convenience of just having it, just hitting there, clicking buttons and their credit card on file and just charge, and just mass email them out their receipt. I'm like, I don't care if 2.85. You just
I don't care if
add
it's
it.
5%. I don't care what it is. Just about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way people. Sometimes I'm thinking I'm not a great business person, but I can look at what other businesses do that are successful, you
Yeah.
know, and like Amazon or something. I'm not Amazon, but I'm saying whenever I call Amazon and I'm mad at them, they always make me happy and do take care
Yeah.
of you and fix it. And I thought there's something to that, you know. I don't have to. So I try to at least pick up tips from other successful organizations.
Well, those are the kind of people to look up to, and it's kind of like Caleb Allman says. If you ever listen to his podcast, I quote him all the time on here. But he's a wealth of knowledge. He knows so much stuff. He always says is like they're gonna go the extra mile for somebody, because that's what Walmart and Amazon do. You can open it and you can personally break that. You could break that thing and be like, I want to send it back, and they would let you because they know you're a long-term customer.
Yes,
and so that's what you're saying is you've learned good stuff from them because they've made you happy. They've fixed your problems, and now you take that and try to do it in your business as well.
Yeah, one time, and this is, to me, the way this works is you have to build those costs into your business. Like,
Yes.
for instance, credit card. People want to pay with a credit card,
Yeah.
and they want it to be convenient, and they're okay if you charge them 3% more. Well, you have to build that in. 'Cause I remember one time we first moved here, and I needed to make money any way I could. So I get my brother-in-law, and we go put about 10 pallets of sod out for this guy. And I'm pretty sure this guy's a multimillionaire, but he's also a kind of multimillionaire that likes to keep his multi-millions.
Pinch his pennies,
Yeah,
yep.
he doesn't like sharing his multi-millions. So I forget what we're not in the sod business, but I think I told him like $200 a pallet or something like that. Now that was just the layout. We didn't do any dirt work. Maybe we got some. Oh, actually we did. We got a load of topsoil, and the dump truck guy, I don't know what he's backs into the actual yard and ruts up the yard, and he got stuck. And had to call a wrecker. He wanted me to split the wrecker bill with him. I was like, man, you're the one that backed it up in the yard. And so anyway, we did the yard. We did the job. It nearly killed me. And but I thought, you know what? We priced it so low that we couldn't give the customer a break on anything. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes if your prices are so low, like if you're making really good profit on stuff like Amazon, and the customer, you know, decides they want to be mad, you just let them have it because you're so profitable. If you've cut your prices so low, you can't afford to give the customer a break because you're barely making any money as it is.
Yeah, but those are the customers that are going to come back to you when you do that, when you build that in.
Right.
And that's one thing that I have had to fix myself this year is you can't quote jobs the way that you would want to, what you would want to spend on it.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've had to realize is getting into some quote unquote bigger landscapes from my level. They're still extremely small, but when I give somebody a price, I'm like, there's no way that they're going to pay this. There's no way. And they come back and don't even bat an eye at it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if it was me, I was like, there's no way I would pay that for this because I know how to do it. And so that's one thing, like you were saying, add that percentage into your price is that 5. And one thing that this is so low level, like that's a dumb thing, surface level thing. It's so stupid, but it has helped me in my mind is if you're going to quote a job, say you're going to quote a yard for $45 to do the lawn, to do the chemicals. Why not quote at 50? Because if you quote at 50, if they're going to say yes to 45, they're not going to say no to 50.
Yeah, most time. Yeah, no, I think you're right. And that, I mean, I had to go up on people this year, and I get real nervous. Like, well, if I go up, I mean, most people are like, "Oh, we totally understand."
Yeah.
You know, like they don't even flinch. And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, it was 48 last year. This year's going to be 51." They're like, "Oh, that's fine. We you know," and they don't care. But in the business, that actually makes a significant difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Hundreds of customers. And I think if I don't go up on this guy $3 this year, and I continue on for the next several years for $3, and not just him, all of them combined, I mean, you ends up costing yourself thousands of dollars. And that makes, I mean, anyway, it's just like McDonald's or somebody makes a big deal over how many ketchup packs they give you. Well, if you think about how many ketchup packs they're wasting, it makes a big difference on their bottom line. So it's not a direct correlation, but you know. I think most people. This is what I had to like to your point. I went this morning I took my daughter to Chick-fil-A. She had given me a $10 gift card for my birthday to take her to Chick-fil-A. So we did. We went.
Parent life.
Well, I told her, I said, you know what? I said I probably hadn't been to Chick-fil-A in 2 years, and I like Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
As if it, like your point about people don't shop. We can't price like we buy. I said, I'm so cheap, I guess. Chick-fil-A's basically outpriced me. I can't afford Chick-fil-A, or I don't want to pay what they want.
You don't want to pay.
No, but again, I'm in the minority because the drive-through is wrapped around the building.
Oh, you can't get in this one here.
So I'm saying. So I can't do things the way I would do. I mean, obviously, most people would go through there and buy a $7 meal for breakfast. A coffee and a hash brown, a biscuit for $7. I said, I ain't doing that. But they don't bat an eye about it, and they do it 4 times a week.
And Chick-fil-A knows that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'd be dumb not to charge $7. And the fact that they ran me off is no big deal.
They're not losing anything.
Yeah, they don't care. And so that's the thing way with lawn company. You can't. If you charge $30 a yard, you'd have more work than you could possibly do. So you can only do so much work as it is. Yeah, you might as well make it profitable.
But just do that from the beginning. That's the thing. Like you're saying, you're going up on prices now year after year. But I personally know there's people that listen to this show that have reached out that they're going to be starting chemical companies here soon, and in the next year they're going to be starting. So what little bit I know about chemicals, I don't know hardly anything about it, but I do know when it comes to pricing stuff is price it right the first time. Like price it the 45 or the 47 or the 50 the first time. Don't price it the 35 and then have to adjust your price in the next 2 years when you realize, wow, I'm not making any money on this.
Yeah, and I would get away personally from the first treatment free, first treatment $29.95, first treatment half off. I just throw all that away. Let the big companies do that. Yeah. That's what they do. Because most time people are going to hire a small local company. They are willing to pay more for the small local company. The big ones. I used to do that half off your first treatment. I think I basically just gave away half my money. They were going to hire me anyway. I'm like, here, why don't you just take some of my money while I'm at it? It's so stupid. And then you also get that one who just does the one treatment, which you did half price, and then you never hear from them again. They fire you. I've had one I was still mad at from about 5 years ago. I did the first treatment. I don't remember if it was half off or not, and I don't think he ever paid. And he said, I texted him about the pay, and he's like, "Oh, we didn't see any results." So it was. It made me so mad. I tried to call his employer. I couldn't. I think he had quit or got fired or something. Yeah. I was like, "Well, good. I hope he got fired."
That's not holding a grudge or anything.
No,
Jason doesn't hold grudges.
No, anyway, I don't think about him ever again.
Oh man, it is funny how that kind of stuff sticks around though, because I have customers like that I actually personally had somebody that like a month ago actually we were sitting there talking and I said the job's this much. It was $750. We'll say it was $750, and 5 minutes later he went inside, wrote a check, came back out with a check for $700, and I was like. And honestly, so this is bad of me. Don't take this as advice. If anybody does this to you out there that's listening, you get your $50 back. But for me, the dude was talking. He would not stop talking. He was taking up my whole afternoon. So to me, it wasn't worth the $50 to be like, hey, you owe me the $50. But don't let him walk all over you like that. Like, so that's another thing when you're starting out is like that guy owed you money. You should have gotten your money. And like you said, you reached out to the employer and you did what you could. But don't let somebody cheat you for the money that you did the work for. And that's looking back on my situation, I should have said no. This was $750 job, and you drew me a check for $700. And he did it knowing that I probably wouldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he got. He saved his $50. And so I don't know. That's a big thing to me. Is something. It's just learning. It's process of things, and that's one thing that I want to hear. I like talking to you, somebody who's been in the business for this long, because you've seen all this stuff, and it helps these new guys that are starting out, and even young guys like myself that's only been in it 2 or 3 years. The stuff that you see, and once you see it one time, it'll never happen again. Yeah. But by having these conversations, the ones that see it the first time, don't ever let it happen. Don't let it not happen again. Just don't let it happen in the first place.
Yeah, to me, it's like the $50, like in that situation, like the guy cheated me. And I had almost the same thing happen to me one time. It's from a fellow lawn company. He was subbing out the spray, and I mean, he was a mowing company, and they shorted me $50, man. I'm just like, what? I was like, why is it? I don't. You don't want to accuse somebody.
Yeah.
But I'm like, can you read the numbers on that invoice?
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, but the point is, it's more than the $50. Is like it just weighs on me. I get so mad and I literally lose sleep over. So that's why I'm going to credit card on file. I'm like, I just get so worked up when people do me wrong, and that's not necessarily great.
But you don't want customers like that in your business. So
yeah,
that's
you
the
don't
thing.
want them anyway,
Yeah.
and it just wears on me. And I come home and I say, I can't believe that guy did me that. And I'm like, card on file or go to somebody else.
Well, and this is kind of diving deep into the topic here, but it can kind of, like you're saying, it affects everybody differently. Some people say, whatever, and move on. For you, it affects you. It actually affects you. It affects you personally, so that you could take that home into your family life, and that could ruin your night at home with your kids and your wife.
I agree. I used to have this old lady when we was mowing grass. This old lady would write a handwritten 1-page note, almost a full page, every single time we showed up, about what we did wrong the last time. We were out there picking up 4-inch twigs out of our yard before we mowed, and you didn't get around the fence good enough, and there was a piece of grass on my sidewalk. Yeah. I mean, every time. And I thought, I got so mad at that lady. But I'm saying we had a crew, and we it was kind of when we used to laugh to keep from crying, but we would be, it literally would hurt the morale of the crew, because we got to go to this lady's house and listen to her whine. Yep. And I remember when she fired me, which was inevitable. We were going to break up, and I just hate that I let her fire me before I could fire her. But she didn't pay the last time either. She just fired me and didn't pay. But we are so, it's like the idea of just being done with her. And like, to me, it's hard running a small business. Lawn care is hard work. There is a huge demand for it, especially if you're decent at what you do and a halfway honorable human being, which, not all of us, not everybody is. Yeah. And so like people will pay. If somebody's making your life more difficult, I just, move on. I mean, do it politely. You don't have to, say ugly things to them, but it's just not worth it, because I think half time in my mind I tell myself I can replace that customer faster than they can replace me.
Absolutely. Seriously, in today's contracting problems, you really could, because you can't get anybody to show up to do anything. I mean, I looked for somebody to bring me firewood for, I don't know, a month before somebody finally showed up and wasn't a scam or anything. So that's very true. You can find somebody before they could replace you. But So what we're talking about here is just a lot of business, just tips and advice and just stuff that Jason's learned over his years and stuff that I'm still learning today. What made you kind of start your business back in the day? What made you start and want to go on your own and jump into this world of entrepreneurship?
Well, I really think people are kind of born with the entrepreneurial spirit. Now, I didn't know. Now, looking back, I'm like, how come I never worked out with me working a regular job? I was like, I'm not lazy, and I'm not like, I show up, and but I always kind of just didn't work out. I always and even in school, I was just like thinking, why does everybody work 40 hours a week and make just enough money to get by
to survive?
It's like, seemed like no matter if you made a lot of money or little money, everybody's just got enough to make it. And I was like, what if there's a better way? Like, what if you could work 30 hours and make more money, or work 60 hours and make, I don't know. I just thought there's got to be a different way. So And then I had this kind of desire. I wanted to do something that mattered with my life. I was just like, I can't do this whole 9-to-5 thing. And I had the worst job I ever had. I had a lot of really bad ones, but I had just an office job where I literally basically did nothing. I worked for the state government, and if they claim they're hiring more people, don't believe them, because there was not a need for extra people. I could assure you could have fired 90% of the floor I was on, and I don't think nothing different would have happened. But anyway,
it's nice to know that's where our tax dollars are going.
Yeah, they say raise taxes. I say, I don't know. I saw a few that we could cut.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't do anything, and that was basically miserable. But I kind of, to answer your question, I wanted something that had a purpose to it. So and when I was in college, I didn't have a lot of ambition, unfortunately, and didn't have a lot of direction. But I thought, well, I'd like to either go be a missionary or go join the military or have my own business. Those are kind of three things I thought sounded, bigger than myself, I guess you would say.
Yep.
Well, of those three, end up starting a business, and then I was like, well, what can I do? And I ended up going, doing lawn care, not because did a lot of research into it or anything. It was just what came to mind, something I thought I could get started in. And then, but now, like I said, I've told you this. Well, I failed at another business, coupon book fundraising company, and it just kind of affirmed to me the lawn business. People are down on it sometimes. I still think it's a great business.
Yeah.
It's not, maybe not, it's not like Silicon Valley gonna make multi-millions, but it can be a great income for a lot of people.
And like you're saying, you wanted to do something that mattered. And some people say, cutting grass, why does that matter? That doesn't. You can take it so many levels, and you can help. I know you're a fellow believer, and we talk about that on the show a lot. And you can help widows. That they can't cut their yard. You can go cut the grass for them, and you could put some mulch in their beds every once in a while, or maybe help a family out that can't afford to do something, like can't afford to get their yard cut because their relative has cancer and he can't afford them. So there is a way to definitely, and also just holding yourself to a high standard. Like, you want a quality product when you leave the yard, and that's same to you. As one question I was going to ask is, what would you say defines you from your competition? Because I know weed control and fertilization is so competitive. Like lawn maintenance is it's probably, I don't know. I would say it's more competitive just because it's easier to get into. More people can do it than the weed control and fertilization. But I've seen, there's so many weed control guys around here. And what do you think sets yourself apart? But then what advice would you give to somebody else who's starting or even has their own company now to help them set themselves apart as well?
Yeah. I wanted to say something about you were talking about helping widows or things like that. That was a good, made me think. I have very few. I think there's a balance that, like, one sense, you have to be profitable as a business. Like I had somebody ask me about sponsoring their, and I know you're a basketball coach, sponsoring their junior high girls basketball team or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I told him no, and he was a customer, and he kind of pressed me on it, and I told him no again.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't care if I lose a customer, I'm not doing it. And it's basically a donation. I'm not going to get a single customer from this.
Yeah.
And that's fine if you want to do it, but I'm just kind of in the sense that I have to make.
You have to make money at the end of the day.
Be profitable,
Yeah.
and then if I want to choose to be generous to somebody, you can. Okay, so that's the one side. The other side is, I think you really should find some way to help somebody, because I have a few people I help out, and I think I told my wife recently, I was like, you know what? When I wake up, I'm not really proud of this, but I can't tell you what percentage of my day goes toward trying to make money, whether on YouTube or marketing money. It's a large percentage of my mind and energy is make money. And that's not all bad, but I hate just that, controlling my mind. And I thought, you know what? Sometimes for me to shift and to think, how can I do something for somebody without trying to make money? It actually comes back as one of the more meaningful things you can do, and feel like you have purpose other than just making money, which is not a bad, that's a good thing. I'm trying to make money.
You got to make money to be able to help people. That's the thing.
But listen, sometimes if I get to help somebody, I'm like, you know what, that was probably one of the best things I did this week. Or this week, like if I'm out making money. When I went to Chick-fil-A with my daughter, that I've got to make time for that too, and that actually turned out to be one of the better things. So, but you said setting yourself apart. Let me get back to the actual question here.
Stuff. That's good stuff.
Set myself apart. I try to. I'm a solo guy, so I kind of ride that hard when I'm going against bigger companies and try to emphasize that I'm the one taking care of your lawn. Now, I don't think you have to be necessarily a solo guy to really push that. If you're just a small business and that you show that you have personal interest in their yard, and I think without even doing any work, I think you can convince them of that just talking to them, because you know how it is when you, like you say, you try to get somebody to give you firewood, you call them, and if they answer, they might not answer, they might not call you back at all, and then half time if they answer, they sound so disinterested, like I could care less if I get you, so if you, even the tone of your voice, when I give somebody a quote, if I can't come right away, I want to really emphasize to them that I want to look at your yard, and I'm going to try to get there as soon as I can. You know, so I'm like, yes, thank you for calling. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll be by there this afternoon. I'm sorry I'm working on the other side of town, but as soon as I get back, in your area, I will head right over there to look at it. And you can hear it in somebody's voice, like, yeah, they actually want the work, and you believe that sounds simple, but that sets you apart from half the other people. So that, that's one thing. Then, like I said, just emphasizing, I don't want to just measure their yard on the computer and email them a quote or text them a quote. Like I really want to stand on their yard with them and talk to them. So I want to point out the weeds in their yard, tell them. I'm not trying to show off, but I want to name the weed, and here's what we can do to control that weed. So you're selling yourself, you're presenting yourself as knowledgeable, and then besides the lawn thing, in lawn business, your lawn there is a sense where it's just personal. When it's local lawn business, some people want to have somebody they feel like they can halfway relate to, and is a decent person to talk to. So if they want to stand there, I'm not that social. I don't want to sit there and talk all day. But if they want to have a 10-minute conversation about their lawn, then I'll sit there and do that. And sometimes you gain their trust, and then they're not going to fire you for anything.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that what you said right there is just at the end is massive, because we talk about being profitable and making money. You have to do that. So you can't stand there and talk to Joe Blow in his yard or Granny Herfenherbler or whoever you want to call her. You can't sit there and talk to them every time you're at their yard for 30 minutes. That can't happen, because then you lose money. But when there's a time where she wants to talk about something, maybe she does express a concern about something you did, or you have to sit there and as a business owner, take that and take it on the chin and say, yeah, we did mess up. If you did mess up, acknowledge that. But then just kind of I don't know, it sounds bad, but like entertain her. Go along, kind of what you're saying. Make her feel like you want to be there and you don't just hate your life. And that results in customers that will be lifelong customers. Because the same thing you just said, I know 100% I can count customers that they will never drop me for anything. And that I'll be cutting their grass until they're dead. And I know it's a bold statement, but I 100% believe it with all of my being. Is that's just we take care of them the right way, and they entrust us more than they would anyone else. Now, could they entrust someone else more? If they met them, I don't know. But I'm just saying, unless we do something absolutely terrible, we're not going to get fired from that yard. And that's huge in starting that and building that relationship from the beginning when they call you out there.
Yeah, I've had customers. I remember talking to this guy, and he a young guy, been diagnosed with cancer, and then last year I had this lady. Her husband died, and she's telling me, she's crying, telling me about it, and he died on their anniversary, and so it's just you get to know people, not a lot. I don't really want to get to know them a whole lot, but like I said, somebody comes out and you say, how you doing, and they say, my husband died last week. I was just texting the lady yesterday, I think it was. And I was like, hey, just checking to see if you want me to take care of your yard in 2022. She said, my husband died on Christmas Eve, which was last week. Oh, man. And she said, I'll get back to you on the yard. And what do? Other than just tell her you're sorry about that, and,
no rush. And
yeah, but I'm just saying, you're not searching for those conversations, but they just come. And some people, and the other thing, like you talk about widows and stuff, sometimes you realize how just lonely people are. And literally, they talk to the lawn guy because that's about the only guy they have to talk to. Yeah, they don't have anybody else to talk to.
And that's exactly one of my customers is that exact. She's a widow, and she's the sweetest lady you could ever meet. But she always wants to talk while I'm there, and we'll talk 5 or 10 minutes every time. But and I don't know. Am I quote unquote losing money in that 10 minutes? I guess you could say that. I'm not moving on to the next property, but I'm gaining that she's one of my most valuable customers. It's a property that I can show up and say, hey, we need to do this, this, and this, and it's going to cost this, and she'll say, do it. That's all. She won't even think twice about it. And those are the kind of ones. Those are the ones you want to the kind of customers you want to have, especially long term. Do you do any commercial stuff, or do you stay all residential?
Yeah, I've got commercial stuff. I don't search it out or anything, but to me, like doing weed control is like grass is grass. It's just I just want grass. I don't care who owns it or whatever. Yeah. Now, like I've got a HOA in town, and sometimes it's hard. I email the HO or the home, what is it, one of the management company kind of
Yeah,
deals.
the property man, yeah.
You email them, and they say, well, I'll send it over to the board, and then the board never gets back.
Yeah.
And so I just had to tell that lady today, I was like, I mean, it's been going on for months, and I still hadn't tell them that the price is going up, and and still hadn't heard back. So, I mean, it's just kind of like sometimes communication is a little bit tougher on those situations.
Yeah, that's. I dabble in some commercial. I have some. I have, like you're saying, HOA stuff that I deal with property management company, and luckily the one that I have is great. It's the best property management company I've ever dealt with. But I like residential because you build those relationships, and it all depends on what kind of business you're running, what kind of model you want. And we're sitting there talking. We're two owner operators, and everybody doesn't want to be that way. Everyone's not. Some people want to scale. Some people want to not be in the field, and they want to have guys running out on commercial lots, and it's just a different scenario in that case. You do things a little bit differently, but I think starting out as a small business, these are all keys that you can take and grow in your early years, because it's all stuff that I've personally implemented, and I think it's helped me propel in my business as to where we are today.
Yeah, I like to have a little bit of commercial properties just because sometimes I get up at 6 in the morning and I'm ready to go to work, and I go, or on a Saturday, if it's beautiful weather, I'll go knock out a few commercial properties when nobody's there.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what time it is, and so. To me, it helps. I come home. I'll go do 2 or 3 property. I feel like I made $200-300, and I come home at 8:00 and eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, half people ain't even showed up at work yet. You know?
They're still in the bed.
Yeah, sluggards. So.
Oh man. Well, let's talk route density for a second, because that's something that I'm really honing in on. It's something that everyone should be, lawn care or weed control or really anything. I mean, in the service industry, your route should be pretty tight. I know in our local area, I mean, you're trying to condense to our main city that we're in here. And what does it look like? I guess over the years, let's talk long term. Where have you kind of started, and how have you evolved your route density to today?
Well, even my current business, Alabama Lawn Pros, when I started, I wasn't sure if I was going to have 12 trucks one day and be a huge operation. So if you don't know, like it's okay. I'd go wider. I was going into Birmingham and places I don't go now because I thought, well, I got to get 1 yard out there before I can get 20, so I'll go ahead and take one. Well, again, it goes back to like quality of life, and I just didn't enjoy getting into some of those areas, so I sold off, not necessarily for route density. I was just trying to shrink my business, but it just made sense. If I'm going to sell some, I'm going to sell the ones that
are far away.
Yeah. And so by doing that, though, I tell you, I almost kind of backed into it. I didn't realize what a difference it did make, and not just money of like driving and everything, but again, like quality of life. Like if I get up, I'm not a person that I get up early, but I mean, I've got things to do in the morning. I got, animals and whatever I want to do in the morning stuff. But it's okay because I can mess around at the house for a couple of hours, and at 8:30 when I feel like it's okay for me to go show up at somebody's house, I can be there in 5 minutes, where if it's like I got a 45-minute haul to get there, well then, I got to start that journey as soon as I wake up and getting ready. And then if I want to come home for lunch. So anyway, I mean, quality of life to me is even more important on the route density and being close than the other stuff as far as making more money, but definitely making more money too. And I think, they're talking about gas keeps going up and all this other stuff's going up and all that. So
and vehicle maintenance, that's one thing. I mean, you're not putting hundreds and thousands of miles on your vehicles.
Yeah, I get about 10 miles a gallon. So, you don't
need it,
driving around all that time, but I think it's super important.
So what is it now that you've kind of honed it in, what is a rough radius? 15 miles, 20 miles?
Well, I mean, I've got like 80% of my customers are probably, they're probably within 5 to 7 miles. I mean, probably 50% of them are within like, 4 or 5 miles. But then I go a little bit further. But then I have a 20% that I drive like 35 minutes away, and I have kind of another. I tell people I use like a fishing illustration. These these pro fishermen have the tournament, and the one guy starts fishing right away, and the other guy drives an hour, and you think, what is he doing? But he gets over and he catches all these fish, And so I drive 35 minutes because I got a good fishing hole 35 minutes away.
Yeah, yeah. And is that something you built up earlier on, and you just kind of kept that as you've shrunk?
I kept it, and it's not as competitive, honestly. A lot of the companies don't go over there, and they're still building houses. It's like, It's kind of perfect, other than it's 35 minutes away.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not terrible. Once I'm over there, I've got 4 or 5 days worth of work. So it's like once I drive 35 minutes, then all my yards are close together. It's not like I'm driving all over the place.
Yeah, you're not driving 35 minutes and then driving 20 in between yards.
Yes. So, and it's not low traffic area and all that. So it's not I don't know. I'm just not I just can't handle the stress
of being in the like this traffic and stuff.
Yeah, I just can't. It gets to me. I come home, I just feel like I was like, this was terrible.
I'm assuming you used to, when you started, you did stuff down on 280, right?
Yeah,
oh,
I get down there and drive, and I've got this ride-on spreader sprayer on the back of my truck. I'm just hoping if that thing falls off in the middle of the road, I may just keep going. I don't even
look back.
Yeah, I don't know whose that was.
Do not look back.
It's not worth it.
Goodness, no. That's whenever I have to go down there and I'm pulling a 18-foot trailer, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is. I'm like, please let my blinkers work. Make sure there's no tail lights out, because
terrible. So.
You might murder it. And for those of you listening that aren't from here, 280 is one of our local highways, but it is the busiest in our area by far. It is just 8 lanes of traffic, but I mean, it's just it's crazy.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
I think if you even lived in a big city, I would think you would have to just select neighborhoods and say, I'm not driving all over. I don't understand how you make any money.
I think that's accurate though, because I know like Brian in his lawn maintenance company, he only works in a few neighborhoods. Like he targets specific neighborhoods and says, these are the ones I'm going to work in.
Yeah.
He's not just going to go down some random street and pick up a yard down there. He is in neighborhoods and saying there's 4 or 5 that he's in.
Yeah. Now, to me, the difference would be is I was going to start a weed control company, and I wanted to have a multi-million-dollar company, and I knew I wanted all these trucks running one day. Then I'm basically taking everything within an hour radius, and I'm just like, I'm taking them all just about, and because it's kind of a numbers game at that. And some people have that goal. Their goal is to build up the most revenue their company can generate in a year, with the idea of selling the company one day. Like if my company's generating $3 million a year in revenue, then it's worth something to True Green or whoever's going to buy me out one day.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good way to think. I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah, but that's not me. I'm not trying to. I mean, I'd be fine if somebody wanted to pay me something.
You want that bottom line though?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I don't. I'm not saying I couldn't even do that. I think maybe I could, but I think I'd be so angry at the world by the time I made it that far. I'd be so managing people, and
I'm gonna make sure if I see you on the road, I don't ever cut you off. Or anything, he'll be coming after me.
I'm all right. So.
Oh, that's real life stuff right there. That's funny. So if anybody's ever seen Jason on the road, and he's just sitting there mad at himself, he's mad talking to himself in the truck, just knows some customer probably did him wrong or cheated him money. Or
that's right. I try. I really need to work on not letting that stuff get to me. But
hey, I mean, everybody has their downfalls.
Yeah,
everybody has their demons.
Right.
So, well, we were talking at the beginning of the show, and then we kind of transitioned. I want to go back to this, the yard signs. This is something I see with weed control and fertilization companies all the time. The little 12-inch, 16-inch yard signs that people put out front. You say you use them. I always was under the impression that it really probably helped, because you see that sign everywhere. If people see your sign, they're going to see your name and call a number. So what has your experience been in using the signs? And if that's not one of your top marketing keys to marketing in your business, how have you gone about marketing and gaining on new clients?
Well, I don't think the signs are a waste. Matter of fact, I kind of like them. They're a little on the expensive side for the decent ones that that hold up in the weather. Now you get like the super cheap ones, and the first morning it gets dew on it, it's all falling over. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I've got some guy. A guy named Chad, he runs spraysigns.com. But anyway, he does a great job, and they use the ones that hold up. It's basically milk carton materials, the way they describe it to you. So it's made to hold up with. I mean, not going to last forever, but they'll last a month and still look pretty decent. Mm-hmm. So I do think those are important. Like, if I'm trying to take over a neighborhood, and when one of my competitors, I'll go in there to a certain neighborhood, and this one competitor, I mean, he'll have like
They're everywhere.
50 in one neighborhood. Yeah. I'm like,
I know who you're talking about.
And what does that mean? Like, so like the 3 guys on that neighborhood that aren't using him, if they decide to hire a company, who are they going to hire? So, I mean, it does kind of give you that branding, like just name recognition. Even if it's not in the whole city, it's like he's got name recognition in that city. I can guarantee you, unless somebody's just not paying attention, they know exactly who treats most of the yards because they see the sign all the time. So, and that you don't have to take over a neighborhood for that to happen. It could literally be just the way I look at it, and you don't think this is me being evil again, but like when somebody like say I had next door neighbors and one of them fires me, then I'm thinking I'm gonna make the one that didn't fire me. I'm gonna make his yard look green so good. I'm like, open up the fertilizer spread. It's gonna be super green, and I'm gonna make that other guy. I hope he
wish
regrets
he never. Wish he never fired me.
But let's say you got one customer, and you got the neighbor. And he finally, after so many years, wants to make a change. Well, if he notices that your neighbor's yard looks great all the time, it's the one that he notices whose neighbor's been doing his neighbor's yard. Mm-hmm. And if it's your company and they're only seeing your sign in their yard, then when they go to switch, it's likely they're going to call you.
Come to you.
Now that can happen the opposite way too. And this is when they really want to get to me. They tell me, why is my neighbor's yard so green and mine's not? Now all that. Why is my neighbor's yard doesn't have any weeds? And that point
can bite you in the butt.
Well, they don't want to hear the truth. The truth is their neighbor's out there mowing his grass 3 times a week, and they mow their grass one every 3 weeks. I say, well, it looks like you ain't mowed your grass. You can't. Anyway, it is.
You can only do so much.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a team effort here. We're in a partnership, and you try not to say that directly, but sometimes they're not holding up their end of the bargain.
We'll circle back to marketing. That's a good point that I kind of want to talk about. I've always wondered this. How do you, as a chemical provider, results? People want results from you. For me, I can go out and cut a yard and I can make it look, 80% better than what it was, and they're happy with it. For you, and I'm talking about for me personally, my yard, I don't want weeds in my yard. If I walk out and I'm paying somebody $50 every treatment to come out, and I see weeds popping up, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of how do you handle that about when you do have weeds? Say you treat and then 3 weeks later there's weeds in there.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Because the customer has a right to want a good product. They don't want weeds, and they're not paying you to not have weeds for 2 weeks, and then the rest of the 4 weeks in between your treatments they have them. They're paying you not have them at all.
Yeah.
And so how do you kind of go about doing that?
Yeah. So I think. One thing we talk about again, pricing. If let's say I wanted to go low ball on my prices and to keep being profitable, I do use cheapo chemicals. I use cheap pre-emergence and cheap fertilizer. And I'm like, look how much money I'm making.
Yeah.
Well, I think at least in our area, I think there's more of a demand for people that will pay. They will pay more if you deliver outstanding results. So one thing I've done was, I've started, even this year, I'm improving my program from last year. There's a product we use called Spectacle Flow. It costs over $1,600 per gallon of it.
Per gallon?
Per gallon. It goes a long way, but it's expensive. When you're pouring it in your tank, you're like, if I spill this, I'm gonna get them.
Don't drop an ounce.
Yeah, I'm gonna get something out here and start sweeping it up off the ground.
Yeah.
So anyway. And you think, well, why would you use something that costs $1,600? I used to wrestle with that. I'd be out there spraying it like, this is bad.
Can I use this much?
I'm like, I hope I don't. And anyway, now I'm like, no, I'm not only just using it in the fall, which I used to not use it at all. Then I started using it in the fall. Now I'm going to use it in the fall and the spring.
Yeah.
And because for me, it's like you're saying, the customers, they want the result. And I think if I have the greatest yards in Trussville, and we got some really good competitors, then I think people are the route density will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Because people will start recommending.
People are going to see that yard and be like, wow, that's really good.
And then really when you average it out, it's like maybe $2 and something for every 1,000 square feet. So you got a 5,000 square foot yard. It's like, well, it cost me $10 to spray it. $10 for that, and maybe let's say went up to $3 on the and you're not using it every time. Sometimes it's cheaper. But let's say it was $10 and you charged them $50 or $60. It's still not it's not bad.
Yeah, you're still making pretty good profits.
You still make good profits, and then if you don't kill the weeds, then you get complaints where you got to go back and treat their yard for free, or when you're out there doing weed control treatments in the summer, backpacking yards, you're out there spraying other junk, trying to get rid of stuff, and it's like if I could use this expensive product and just keep it from ever being seen in the yard, to me it's worth it.
Yeah.
So you gotta just go crazy on the chemicals. The other side of it, like I say, I don't skimp on the chemicals. The other side though is you have to explain to some customers like nut sedge, or people call them nut grass. It's just they haven't invented anything that's going to kill it just yet. I tell people all the time. I have this conversation every summer. I say I probably got 7 sedge products on my truck, and if you've invented something that'll kill nut sedge, you won't be a millionaire, you'll be a billionaire. I said it's just like that stuff is just so aggravating. And I use the example of my house. I said I had solid woods in my yard, no grass. And we clear it off, put some sod out, and guess what? There's nut sedge all back there. I was like, where did it even come from? Where did it come from? I don't even know. Well, it just shows up. And so I'm not saying there's no treatment options or anything, but sometimes if I can explain that to the customer, like, listen, there are certain weeds and then also other management practices, like, hey, listen, if you will just water your grass. Some people have irrigation systems, they just love to watch those things run, and they got tons of nut sedge. And then I said, how often are you watering your grass? Oh, well, we water it every day. That's what they think you want them to water it all the time. Mm-hmm. I said, oh, please.
Slow down.
If you will please water once a week and just soak it once a week, I think that will be plenty for your yard, and it will greatly help on these weeds. Because some of those weeds just thrive in wet areas. Yeah. And you're like, it's 98 degrees, hadn't rained in 3 weeks, and I'm squishing in your yard. So, like, something's not right, man. Yeah. If you think
you're either on a spring or you've been watering too much.
That's right, and that's not normal, and that is not good for the grass, you know. But people don't understand that. They think they got plenty of money. They don't care about their water bill. They think more water is better, and so you have to kind of help them out on some of those things.
How do you handle the lack of watering? That's kind of one of the top with this question that I was kind of hitting at is when you do put your product out there, you charge the customer. They don't water, and then they don't see the results. Because I know a lot of it has to be watered in to activate it. So how long do you kind of go about if they're not watering? What do you do?
Put notes on the invoices. When they invoice, it'll say, hey, please water. If we don't get any rain within 10 days, please water this in. So, at least at that point, you can at least say, well, we told you what to do, whether you did it or not. But, honestly, most stuff like the fertilizer, it's not going to do anything until it gets rained on. But it's like we use a lot of slow-release fertilizer, so it's not going to, burn up the lawn. Some people are like, is this going to burn up my lawn? And it's not going to burn up the lawn, So, and then the pre-emergence, like I said, you'd have to be some kind of biologist, I'm assuming, to understand exactly what's going on in the soil when you put out those chemicals out. But I know enough to know that I'm amazed at how well that stuff works. And you've seen it where you have a yard that's being sprayed, a yard that's not being sprayed, and you can basically draw a line.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no weeds and all weeds. And you think, well, how does that work? Anyway, I'm amazed that some of it works even with less than ideal practices like not watering it. So, oftentimes I think if it gets water within 2-3 weeks, it's probably still fine. Now, ideally, it'd be great if it was watered in afterwards. But and the other side of that too is you get the one I can get concerned about more is like when you put something out, you spray their weeds, and then it comes a big rain that night. 4 hours later. And then I'm always thinking I'm going to get tons of phone calls. These people are calling, why you sprayed my yard and it rained. Well, if it's a pre-emergent, you tell them, hey, it needs to be watered.
It's good for it,
that's good. If it's fertilizer, hey, it needed water, that's good. If it's like a post-emergent where you're just trying to kill existing weeds, then most of them say on the label like an hour or two, something like that. So at that point, you kind of just talk to them like, listen, once you give it 2 weeks, if you feel like you don't see a significant improvement in the weeds, then you'll come back and take care of it. So that's what it is.
You talk about customers taking advantage of you, and it really gets your blood boiling. It sounds like, have you ever had anybody like flat out lie to you and be like, yeah, I'm watering, but they're not?
Yes. Okay. So what was it? I think it was 4 or 5 years ago when we had like the epic drought, and you may not have been mowing there, but it was in the fall. maybe 5 years ago. But anyway, it was really, really bad drought, like 2 months in August, September, where we didn't basically get no measurable rain. Well, and I had people at that point, you get a situation where like big pieces of yard are dying or shrubs. And this one person had this big section that died. And they tell you, like, I'm watering that, and they're just lying to you. They're not watering. Yeah. I mean, it died because of the 100-year drought we just had, not because I sprayed something. Now, same side, the other side, you got to use some common sense. If the yard is crunchy brown and hadn't had water and looks terrible, going out there and blanking in the whole thing with a bunch of herbicide is not necessarily a good thing for it. Yeah, so like I'm just like, well, I tell you what, we're gonna hold off on your yard until it gets some rain, and because you don't want to be accused of anything.
Do you try to like nowadays? Now that you've kind of at least narrowed down route, you're getting really particular in what you want to be doing. Do you try to only take on irrigated yards, or does that really matter?
Not really. I don't care. I'm more.
You just want grass. That's
grass
what you said.
Is flat. I don't want a hill, and I don't want.
Some of these guys I see out, like you're saying, in the summer backpacking. I'm like, and you know where we live, and we got some of these neighborhoods that have hills. They've literally carved them out of mountains, and I'm like, I see them walking up and down these hills. I was, no way.
Or the person that's got landscaping beds every 3 feet, and I put this there and that there, or I mean, I hate landscaping, but I'd rather just be open grass. But if they got like some rose bushes and there's literally no border, no pine straw, no nothing, I mean, I'm like, no mulch, it's like literally just a rose bush with grass up around it, and so you can only spray so close to the shrub, and I mean literally I'll spray within 3 inches of it, and the 3 inches I didn't spray is covered in weeds. Yeah, I mean, so you don't weed. I'm like, you gotta help me out a little bit. I mean,
put something around it.
Something. You're like, well, I got weeds in my bed, so I bet you do. You ain't got you got bare dirt.
Yeah. What do you expect?
Yeah, people don't have any common sense.
No, common sense is a superpower. That is exactly what that is.
Yeah.
If it's people are just crazy. People are crazy, but
it's only it's just 5% of people that I really think 95% of my customers are great.
Yeah,
and the other 5% I'm trying to get rid of as fast as I can.
That's right.
And I think I got rid of about 4% of them today. Yeah, I mean the ones that didn't pay, I'm like, pay or don't pay, and
that's a good ultimatum. You got to do that at some point in your business, though, if you want to stay profitable and make your life easier, like you're saying. You don't want to be sitting there chasing your money all day. So back to the marketing thing really quick before we wrap this up. This has been a really fun show. We got to run. What do you think your top marketing strategy is for getting new customers in the weed control fertilization?
Yeah, I think long term, to me, it's a website. I get so many calls off my website. It's crazy. And get the website and get it ranked on Google. Like get your Google My Business thing. Go ahead and start getting reviews.
Yep.
I mean, I get calls all the time. And then other than that, like I said, it's this getting to know, if you're weed control, getting to know the mowing guys. If you're the mowing guy, getting to know the weed control guys. I mean, if I didn't do anything else but those two things, my website and just the relationships I have, even without referrals from customers, which that comes with time. But like I don't do any direct mail or any of that stuff anymore. I mean, really? If you're trying to be super aggressive and grow something huge, I'm trying to I'm almost maxed out as like a solo guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to be as profitable as possible and quality of life and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I got one final question for you. This is what I ask all my guests, and I just love hearing all the different, the variety of answers. And the question is, what's your why? What is your why? Why did you start entrepreneurship? Why are you still going in entrepreneurship? Why do you get out of the bed every day?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. And to be honest with you, I actually give it a lot of thought. You think to know the answer is great. And where it hits me sometimes, like for instance, the last month I've been off from doing yards. Yeah. So I do YouTube. It's all like literally, if you had a blank slate on your calendar, like what would you do with yourself today? Because you can only just go out there and play golf or go. You can't do it for so long. You only just hobby yourself for so long before you're like, is this really what life's all about?
Yeah.
So I think with our Christian view, we're created to work. So I think work's a good thing for the most part. And I want a break, and I think people that are slave to their job is not good. But I don't like Monday morning is not a burden to me.
Yeah,
I wake
you don't
up.
dread it. Yeah.
I get up. I enjoy it. So, I mean, I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to be excellent in my work. I'm trying to provide for my family.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, again, we talked about this earlier, how much of my time and energy goes to making money. I get frustrated with that sometimes. But then I think, it's not just like making money for money's sake. What can we do with the money? Like I got to provide for my family. I have a stay-at-home wife and 4 kids, and they all.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, they just eat. I mean, they just like I said, we're going out to eat tonight and going to a movie and going out to eat.
Goodness, you better make some more videos.
I know. I was going. I tell them what they always joke with me. That's just one more yard. And I said, y'all go 1 more yard me straight to a nursing home, man. I said, we 1 more yard me until I can't walk anymore.
Yeah.
But. Actually, my kids got a gift card to the movie theater 2 years ago. They all got $45, and we lost them. We lost them, and we just found them the other day.
Hey,
so we're like,
well, luckily there's a good movie out right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna go see something, and then, but yeah, I don't know the why. I think I wish I had a better answer. To be honest with you, I really think about it all the time because I wish you had this driving sense of purpose.
Yeah,
everybody
is different though.
Yeah, but it just to make money is to me not a good enough reason. That's not going to hold up.
But to me, it sounds like you're providing the life for your family. You're providing the life for your stay-at-home wife and 4 kids, and that's a good why. I mean, even if that's what it is, and it's not, you got to make money to do that.
Yeah, I had someone the other day, he told me, it's like, every day you wake up, you're going to do something constructive or destructive. He's like, let's just be constructive. Yeah. And so even when I'm at home, I'm like, if I'm out there and I'll dig up a bush and move it to a different spot. I might drive my wife crazy. I'm like, well, that didn't look right. But I'm trying to make things better, just kind of the whole idea of bringing order to chaos, and that's what it is with weeds and mowing grass. If you let a Bermuda yard go with no chemicals, it's going to look bad. Yeah. I mean, it's going to look real bad. I get these people on YouTube like, well, why are you using all those chemicals? Why don't you just go hand pull all those weeds? I said, you go ahead and get started, and you let me know when you finish.
Yeah, about 5 years.
Yeah, because you won't finish. Yeah. The time you get finished, you start back over.
Start over. Yep. I hear you. Well, man, it's been a super fun time. I'm so thankful for you coming and joining today, taking some time out of your afternoon to do this. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Well, I mostly do lawn care life at YouTube. I got, I think, 800 videos or something. But, some people.
And you got your online resources now, right?
Yeah, I do. Lawn care life's my website. So if you got people want to start in weed control, I have courses and documents and programs and all that. So I do that. I'm on Instagram, The Lawn Care Life, and if I'm on anything else, I don't know about it yet.
Your name will come up. Lawn care life everywhere. That's what it sounds like.
I guess so.
I hear you, buddy. Well, man, I hope y'all have a great time with your family at the movies. Thank you all so much for listening today. I hope y'all had a great time. Whatever you're doing today, whenever you're listening to the show, I hope you enjoyed what you were doing. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you would, leave those ratings and reviews. Those will really help us and boost us in the Apple Podcast rankings. And now on Spotify, you can leave reviews on Spotify as well. So that would really help us. I would really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to catching up with y'all here on the next episode. Whatever you're doing, just do it to maximum capacity. Do it the best you can, and live to be a better influence on somebody else. So without any further ado, we're going to wrap this one up, and I hope to catch up with y'all here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast. We know you have many other podcast options to choose from, and don't take it for granted that you chose to spend some time with us today. You can connect with Jeremiah Jennings at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram or use the link in the show description. Don't forget to smash the follow button on the podcast and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We hope you crush it in your business and hope to catch you on our next episode.